Hello, welcome to week 12, I think it is. It's hard to remember where we are in time these days. But anyways, welcome to the end of chapter 10. We're going to be finishing up chapter 10 today. And you'll find that the last few sections of chapter 10 are really easy. We've already gotten through the hard part, so good job with that. And thanks for sending me the voice recordings. I really enjoyed hearing all of your stories. Something I found really weird though is that most of you guys take a really long time to get dressed in the morning. And I think that's strange because most of you like wear scrubs to school, so I don't really get why it takes like an hour, some people even 2 hours to get dressed in the morning, but whatever, up to you. Okay, so we're gonna start off with 10.9. 10.9, we're talking about the phrases be used to or be accustomed to and get used to and get accustomed to. Okay, so be used to or be accustomed to has essentially the same meaning, right? It means that something is normal for me. It's not strange or it's not weird anymore. Let's look at the examples they give us. I am used to hot weather or I am accustomed to hot weather. Both of these sentences mean exactly the same thing. And that meaning is that hot weather is nothing strange for me, right? Somebody who is from Alaska, for example, Alaska, even in the summer, I think like the highest is like 15 degrees or something like that. So somebody from Alaska is not used to hot weather, and I think they would probably have a difficult time staying in a place that was really hot, okay? I'm used to living, C and D, I'm used to living in a hot climate. I am accustomed to living in a hot climate. So both of these also kind of have basically the same meaning. What is the difference between A and B and C and D? It's the part of speech that comes after the phrase, okay? So for A and B, what part of speech do we have? We have hot weather. This is a noun phrase, okay? So we use either a noun, or if I want to talk about a verb that feels normal to me, you would say verb ing. For example, I think you guys know I speak Spanish, but these days, I mean, I haven't spoken Spanish since the summer pretty much. It's been a very long time. So these days I'm not used to speaking Spanish. And it's difficult for me at first. It takes me usually like 5 minutes to start the conversation before it starts to feel more natural and more normal, okay? All right, so then we also have in E, here's the example. I just moved from Florida to Alaska. I have never lived in a cold climate before, but I am getting used to or getting accustomed to the cold weather here. Okay, so just imagine when you first go to start a new experience, right? Maybe on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being normal, 1 being totally weird. At the very beginning, you're a 1, right? When you've completely become used to it, then you're a 10, okay? Moving between 1 and 10, this is getting used to, right? Something is still becoming more normal, but it's not completely normal. It's more normal than it was maybe in the past, but it's not 100% normal. You still feel a little weird about it, okay? Okay, so we're going to practice with this on page 282, exercise 41. In your student book, right below the box, right? So exercise 41, number 1 is done. They want you to complete 1 through 4 with a form of be used to, and then 5 through 8 with a form of be accustomed to. Once again, these all have the same meanings. I'm sure you guys have heard the phrase be used to. Be accustomed to is a little bit more formal. We still use it, but it's not as common, right, as be used to. Okay, so number 1 is complete. Juan is from Mexico. He is used to hot weather. He isn't used to cold weather. That answer they already gave us. Number 2, Alice was born and raised in Chicago. She living in a big city. What would we say here? So Chicago, if you don't know, is a very big city in the United States. It's one of like the biggest and most important cities. So do you think it's normal for her to live in a big city? Yes, I think so. We would say she is used to living in a big city. My hometown is New York City, but this year I'm going to school in a town with a population of 10,000. Is 10,000 a large population? I'll give you a hint. Jeddah has a population of, I think, like 6 million. You guys know my favorite city in Saudi Arabia, and maybe my favorite city in the world is the beautiful village, mountain village, not a village, of Taif. And Taif has over 1 million people. Okay, so 1 million. Now think about a town of 10,000. Is that a big city? No, it's not. It's very small, right? Especially compared to New York, which is like 13 million or something like that. Uh, okay, so I'm going to school in a town with a population of 10,000. Am I used to living in a small town? No, I don't think so. I am not used to living in a small town. I am used to living in a big city. Okay, we do a lot of exercises in class. Doing exercises. Oh, we are used, this is a mistake. I should have said we are used to. I'm missing the verb be. Okay, we are used to doing exercises. Okay, all right, so that was part one. In part two, they want you to do the same thing, but with the phrase be accustomed to. Okay, so Spiro, that's a cool name. Spiro recently moved to Hong Kong from Greece. He is accustomed to eating Greek food. He isn't accustomed to eating Chinese food. They are very different kinds of food, but both delicious. Okay, I always get up around 6 a.m. So if you always do something, do you think it feels normal to you? Probably. So you would say, I am accustomed to getting up early. I am not accustomed to sleeping late. Okay? All right. Our teacher always gives us a lot of homework. We are accustomed to having a lot of homework every day. And number 8, young school children rarely take multiple choice tests. They aren't accustomed to taking that kind of test. Okay? All right, so that's all the practice we're gonna really do. Let's exercise 44, right? We'll just think about these together. Okay, so exercise 44 is on the next page, 283. So we have some situations, right? And they want us to discuss the topics and answer the questions. All right, so let's work through these. Number 1, it says Junko. I don't know where they use this name a lot, Junko. I don't know where it's from, but it's kind of a cool name. Okay, Junko is going to leave her parents' house next week. She's going to move in with 2 of her cousins to work in the city. Junko will be away from her home for the first time in her life. What is she going to have to get accustomed to? So what are going to be some things that will be different for her that are maybe not part of her normal life in the past, but will be a part of her new life? Maybe she will have to get accustomed to not seeing her family every day. She will have to get accustomed to doing her own laundry. She will have to get accustomed to eating her own food. She will have to get accustomed to talking to her family on the phone, right? Okay, those are just some examples. Okay, number 2, think of a time you traveled or lived in a foreign country. What weren't you used to? What did you get used to? What didn't you ever get used to? Let's think. Okay. All right, so one time, okay, so I think 2 years ago I went to India. And India is a really cool country. I really recommend going if you ever get the opportunity. What wasn't I used to when I was there? Let's see. I thought that after living in Saudi Arabia, I thought that Saudis were the craziest drivers in the world, but that's wrong actually. India is way crazy. They drive way crazier in India than in Saudi. If you guys know my country in America, we drive really safe, really boring, everybody uses their blinker, everyone, follows the rules for the most part. Nobody drives on the side of the road that's supposed to be for like emergencies, just to pass traffic, right? Not that I actually prefer driving in Saudi, it's more exciting, right? But in India, they drive even crazier. You can't imagine. We're driving on this like really small little road on a mountain like this, and if you're going around a turn, you can't see anything. The taxi driver will just, if he's like behind somebody who's slow, he'll just go, even though he can't see what's around the corner. I don't know how. Somehow he survives. Somehow they don't have accidents, right? But I was definitely not accustomed to such crazy driving when I went to India. What did I get used to? I got used to something that was strange there was cows everywhere, right? I guess, I think it's part of their religion or something. They really love cows. So there's cows just walking on the streets everywhere, right? And people get kind of scared of them. They kind of like walk around them because cows can be unpredictable. But the first week I thought that was pretty weird. But then after that, I stayed for 3 weeks. It became normal. Something else that I got used to was, and I actually really liked it, was bucket showers. So bucket showers, you take water. You have a bucket, right? And you put water in the bucket, and then you have kind of like a cup. And it's good because it saves water actually. And you just pour the water over you, you put soap, and then you rinse it off by pouring more water. And actually, I really liked it. I thought, maybe I'll do this when I go back home, actually, because it's kind of nice. I was too lazy, though, to do that. But in a lot of countries, they do that. In Mexico, they do that. I know somebody told me in the Philippines, they do that as well. So yeah, I got used to bucket showers, and I actually liked it. It was difficult. It was a little bit difficult at first. Or kind of awkward, but it was fine. And it was hot water anyway, so it wasn't like that painful. Okay, what didn't I ever get used to? India is so loud, 24 hours a day. Music, cars, dogs, all the time, right? I had to, and I was staying in one Airbnb that was in the center. It was a village. It was really small actually, but it was still so loud. And especially, you guys are here when you come to the university. You know what? We live at the university, right? You guys are here during the day. And during the day, there's a lot of action and everything, but at night, it is so quiet. You can't imagine. It's so quiet. It's so peaceful. I feel really lucky, actually. So going from my quiet, peaceful place, kind of in the mountains of, south of Jeddah, to like India, I never got used to it, actually. It was so insane. All right, so those were some examples, right, of getting used to. Okay, think of the first day of a job you have. What weren't you used to? What did you get used to? Let's think. Okay, I guess my first job, I was 15 years old, and it was in a small grocery store near my house, and I worked as a bagger, and I was not used to bagging groceries. So, if you're putting the groceries in the bag, you have to do like a special way. Like you have to put the heaviest things on the bottom and the lighter things on top. And yeah, that was something that I wasn't used to and I had to learn. And what did I get used to? I got used to, and it was nice, I got used to making my own money, which was a really good feeling because my dad wanted us to work, not because we needed to, but he thought it was good for kids to work so that they could have responsibility. So I got used to making my money, saving up for things I wanted. Okay, so that's my experience here. All right. Last one. No, sorry, next one. Just kidding, psych. Okay, so next one, 10-10, right? So we talked about used to, right, last semester. So something that you used to do is a habit that you had in the past or something that was true in the past, but it's no longer true now, right? So we want you to be careful because used to looks a lot like be used to, but it's not the same meaning. Be used to means it's almost kind of like an adjective phrase, and it means that this is something that feels normal to me now, okay? Also, if there's a verb following it, there's a difference in the verb form, right? I used to live in Chicago, right? After used to, we have the base form. I used to live in Chicago, but now I live in Tokyo, all right? For be used to, we use verb ing. I am used to living in a big city, okay? All right, so this is kind of just like a review to just make sure that you're not confusing these two forms, which are very similar but have different meanings, okay? All right, so to practice with this, we're gonna look at exercise 46. So they have spaces in the sentences, and they want you to put the correct form of the verb be, if you can. And if you don't need it, then don't put anything. Okay? All right, so number one, I have lived in Malaysia for a long time. I am used to warm weather. I used to live in Portugal, but now I live in Spain. Okay, number three, I used to sitting at this desk. I sit here every day. We would say I am used to, right? And one of the clues that you can look at is the meaning, right? So I sit here every day. That means it's still true, so it's normal for me, right? It's not a past habit. And also we have after used to, we have verb ing sitting, so this would be used to, okay? All right, number 4. I used to sit in the back of the classroom, but now I prefer to sit in the front row. Number 5, when I was a child, I used to play video games. It's hard for my kids to stay inside on a cold, rainy day. They are used to playing outside. A teacher is used to answering questions, and people used to believe the world was flat. And some people, can you believe it? Some people still believe the world is flat. What can you do? Okay, all right, we're gonna move on and look at now exercise 47, okay? So here you're just completing it with the correct form of used to, so either used to or be used to, and the correct form of the verb. Nick stays up later now than he did when he was in high school. He used to go to bed at 10, but now he rarely goes to bed before midnight. All right, so for this one, can you please pause the video, complete the answers, and press play when you're ready to check? I would love that. Thank you. Okay, are you back? Welcome back. Number 2 actually is already done, right? These days I am used to going to bed at around 10:30. I'm a vegetarian. I used to eat meat, but now I only eat meatless meals. Ms. Wu has had a vegetable garden all her life. She is used to growing her own vegetables. I would love to do that. That sounds so nice. Okay, Oscar has lived in Brazil for 10 years. He is used to eating Brazilian food. It is his favorite. Giorgio moved to Germany to open his own restaurant. He used to have a small bakery in Italy. Okay, number 7, I have taken the bus to work every day for the past 5 years. I am used to taking the bus. And Juanita travels by train on company business. She used to go by plane, but now it's too expensive. Okay, so that was 47. So just a reminder for any of these, if you have any questions, please let me know on WhatsApp, okay? And I'll answer them as soon as possible. All right, last one. This is be supposed to, okay? So we use be supposed to explain something that we kind of should do or we are expected to do. Someone else expects us to do, right? A, right? Mike is supposed to call me tomorrow. That means that I expect Mike to call me tomorrow. We are supposed to write a composition. The teacher expects us to write a composition, okay? Now, if I use it in the past, was supposed to, this means that you expected it, but it didn't happen, okay? Alice was supposed to be home at 10, but she didn't get in until midnight, right? I was supposed to talk to my mom yesterday, but she was busy, so we didn't end up talking on the phone, okay? I wasn't supposed to go into work today, but I needed to write an important email, so I went in, okay? All right, so this is the last thing. We're just gonna practice with exercise 49, and then we're done with chapter 10. How sad. I think chapter 10 is a really cool chapter. Okay, so the teacher expects us to be on time for class. We are supposed to be on time for class, okay? So after be supposed to, we use the base form. I didn't mention it. All right. People expect the weather to be cold tomorrow. So I put here the weather is supposed to be cold tomorrow. Can you think of another way to say this? This isn't the best way to say this, to be honest. There's a more common way to say this. We would normally say it is supposed to be cold tomorrow, right? When we talk about the weather, we usually use it. And because I'm saying cold tomorrow, obviously I'm talking about the weather, okay? So either of those would work. If you say the weather is supposed to be cold tomorrow, it's fine, okay? All right, people expect the plane to arrive at 6. The plane is supposed to arrive at 6. My boss expects me to work late tonight. I am supposed to work late tonight. And last one, I expected the mail to come an hour ago, but it didn't. So this was something that I expected in the past, but it didn't happen. We would say the mail was supposed to arrive an hour ago. Okay? All right. So yeah, like what do you think? What are some things that we are supposed to do these days, right? We are supposed to stay home if it's negative. We are not or we aren't supposed to hang out with our friends, right? We are supposed to wash our hands a lot, for example. We aren't supposed to shake hands with strangers, for example. I guess you're kind of not supposed to really do that anyways, but all right, so that's it. I'm going to post, we're going to have a quiz coming up, depending on your class, either at the end of, yeah, the end of the week, more or less, okay? So I'm going to post one more exercise to practice with the passive voice, and then we'll take a quiz for chapter 10. Please, before the quiz, if you have any questions about the passive voice or any of this other stuff, let me know, and I will be more than happy to answer your questions, all right? All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. I miss you all so much. I really do, actually. Life is not the same without you guys. But I hope you guys are well and having fun studying grammar from home and staying safe. All right? Okay, have a great day. Bye. Mwah.